Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your host, Matt McGregor and the Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. How are you, mate?
Morning. I am great. I am back in Panama. Haven't been here in a
Jesus,
while.
6 months.
And yeah, back in Panama. I'm not really sure where I'm going to be the rest of the month. I may just stay here. And yeah, let's get some shows in. Glad you're feeling okay, Matt. And
Yep.
yeah, how was Singapore other than the obvious?
Look, I'm not I'm not disheartened about the fight. I didn't tell anybody this, but I tore my MCL in my knee a few weeks before the fight. So I
Oh,
wasn't able
fuck.
to do any well, I told you, but I wasn't able to do any cardio or anything leading up to the fight. And I got exposed by a 25-year-old in the fight. The first round, I was handling it pretty well, but I just gassed. He gave me one good shot in the ear, which perforated my eardrum, and then my balance was gone, and I got blown out. I got blown out by a younger, better fighter than me. It's boxing. But thank you, everybody, for supporting and watching the show. It was the best. If you want to do boxing on this CFN right now, go over to the website on CFN on Instagram. They're looking for new fighters now. There's a registration period, very hard to get into, but shit, I'll support you. Let's go. All right. I've missed a week here, Tone. What's been happening in the price? Did something happen?
Well, take a look at the charts and see what you think. Your wave turned green. I talked about it yesterday.
Oof, sure did.
So how are you feeling about that?
Feeling really, really good about that. And this is one of those times where it might look unfortunate that we got out, at 109 and have to get back in at 123. But look, who knows what could have happened? That's the whole thing. We don't know if this is going to go down, whatever. We don't know. It's a mystery in trading. But I'll tell you one thing. We said the same thing when it happened back here and we got out at 92 and had to get back in at 94, and it had a tremendous rally thereafter. So that's the system. We are absolutely excited about the price of Bitcoin once again. The only thing I will say here on the weekly time frame is everybody's messaged me this week, hey, the wave's green, the wave's green. Do we just get back in now? That's on you. I don't know. I don't know what you want to do. I don't like giving that kind of advice. My thoughts initially are, after such a tremendous week, I do not like just personally buying here so far above the 7 simple moving average. I just feel like there's an excellent chance for a throwback to the at least that breakout point of like 120, if not down to 116. I just feel like just one good week to put us back inside above the range and everything. It just isn't. It's just hard for me to buy that point. I've been telling people, like, if you really want to get back in, buy some now, but like set like a net, like a $500 gap all the way down to 116 with like 20 orders, and see if you can wick and pick them all up and get a really better entry. But I don't give that kind of advice. It's just what I'm saying to you guys here. Looking over at some of the oscillators, the copy curve has rounded, which is nice. I was pretty worried that this thing was going to go down below zero, but then only just to round over and for us to get back into strength. If it doesn't cross and it rounds off now, so be it. Fantastic, we'll take that. Let's have a look at this divergence that we've been speaking about forever on the RSI. Look, this is exciting. I do actually think that we come back up and retest this line again, which would make sense. But I don't want to get rejected there again. And I think the structure is different now than when it was on the previous attempt when we hit the line. Just having that progression in place. I like the higher low we've put in here, where the previous times we were putting in lower lows on the RSI, just simple charting stuff. I think there's a better chance that we burst it this time. I'm really excited about the price. The MACD, I think, is starting to look really juicy. It's the same thing as the copy curve. We were concerned when it crossed and the red volume was coming in, but this is rounding off nicely. I like it. I like everything about it. Love the MRI count. Last week's MRI green star was an absolute peach, and it is actually starting to look like what you've probably spoken about already, that we had an MRI top warning candle and then we had a 1 to 4 candle correction. This is not textbook Tone Vase 1 to 4 candle correction, but I like the vibe of it. Like the vibe of it going almost to an MRI top, rounding off for sort of a few candles, 1 to 4, but with a little extra, and then, having its breakout thereafter. That's totally fine in my books. Totally fine. Let's go down to some lower time frames. The daily MRI top. It hasn't even loaded yet. I can see it looks like an MRI. Yep, there it is. MRI top on the daily. Now, I think that's a perfect opportunity to have a throwback. What did I say? 116 on the weekly time frame. Maybe we come all the way back down to 116, and you've got a great chance to pick up all these buys. But with the difference between a wave being green and a wave being red, this is just my own personal thoughts, is that when the wave's red, you're not just buying every dip. And maybe that works sometimes, right? But you can buy dips ongoing forever. But when the wave is green, now we start to look for that buy the dip opportunity because the macro is bullish. Okay, maybe it always was, but this is just my system. I would be looking for a chance to buy the dip right here. And if we come down, even if it's to 122, which I definitely think that we will, then the rounding to come back above, 124, 500, that would be more exciting to look on that second approach and to breach it from there. Love it. 4-hour time frame. This has been really interesting. We kept talking about the green diamonds. This is what I worry about when the green diamonds come and they just keep going down. But we still got some really good green diamonds below the 7, below the 200. This is what I said on our last show. Where is it? The last show we did like a week ago, Tone, was when we had put in the low and we had a really good recovery. And I said on the show, I even drew it in. I said, look, the best chance we have right now is if we do this. And you can go back and check the show, just make sure I'm not bluffing you. I put this little circle in. I said, getting into this range in here, wherever it was, right, where we can put in a higher low to the previous low is the best chance we have. And I was really concerned that we were going to break the bottom of that at 107. But I said, if we can retain 107 coming into this zone here, I think we got a really, a decent chance to burst out of it. Now, I didn't buy it and I wasn't bullish, so it's not revisionist history, but that is what I said. And it has been terrific ever since. That's just a sensational fucking rally, right? To pierce that wave green. But now my thoughts go back to where's a great spot to rebuy. I think there's no doubt in the world that we'll come back to at least the 30 simple moving average, and maybe even a throwback to the 50 simple moving average. I think that's all a good play to load up and buy the dip at this point. I think Bitcoin wants to go, dude. I mean, I'd be very surprised if in a month's time we're like, geez, we're still stuck in that range that it felt like we've been stuck in forever. If we're looking at the monthly time frame right now, oh man, it's just so exciting. It's just taken off. I couldn't be more excited. Just while I've got you, I have got a few trades on right now. If you recall, in the trading competition, I was short across the board on a heap of altcoins, right? And I closed all those positions out. Unfortunately, I didn't close them out in the profit that I wanted to because I was a bit busy. But this black line here, I was short on all these trades and I was in really good profit. And I closed them all out at about the same time, all in profit, but nowhere near the profit that I was in. I was short through all this period and I closed them all in about when we hit the 200 simple back here. Some of them, in fact, Link. Yeah, I closed this out in actually quite good profit, the Link trade. The XRP, when we were down here, I was 10x leverage short XRP. I was up like 90% on that trade. I ended up closing out at about 30%. The Doge, I lost money on. That was the only one that it never came. Well, I entered the short at one point and it never came back to my price. So that's good. I'm doing quite well there. I have now gone long. And I had a funny situation happen. This is Manta, right? What the hell is Manta? I don't know, but I went long Manta accidentally back here at 109.03. I went accidentally long on that thinking it was this one, Mantle, which I wanted to go in at 109.03 from there. That was where I tried to enter the trade. And then later on I checked and I'm like, wait, Manta is not Mantle. This is not the same thing. I closed it out in about 5% profit earlier today. I'm not interested in this anymore because the mantle is the trade that I've been in since this blue line that you can see down the bottom here. Look at this trade, Tone. I went huge into this back when I was in Malaysia back in the middle of August. This is one of the better trades I've made this year. This thing right now is sitting at 123% up, and it's looking strength after strength. Tone, I think I'm becoming a shitcoin trader. I think I mean, my Bitcoin.
If it's making you money, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm coming back to you now in the studio, Tone, just to have a bit of a funny chat about shitcoins. Man, I disagreed with you when you said the altcoin season is over. I don't think altcoin season's over. I think there's a play on to do like a arbitrage Bitcoin trade is what I've been talking about, to go into some of these altcoins that might outperform Bitcoin to go back into Bitcoin at a better vantage point. So like the benchmark is of course the price of Bitcoin, but I mean I'm beating the benchmark right now with some of these altcoin trades, especially that 120%. I went huge into that. You can't even believe how much money I threw into that, and it's turned out really, really good. So we'll keep an eye on this in the next few weeks. I might start going into Pudgy Penguin and whatnot. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Hey, in the comment section, please list, or in our in the chat section, list me some altcoins you want me to look at, because I'm feeling a bit frisky on altcoins, Tone. What do you reckon? Is that retarded?
Yeah, well, again, not if they're going to make you money. I don't really care what people trade. It's when people start saying how they're better than Bitcoin, that's when I have a problem. If it's a trade, it's a trade. Trading some shitcoin is no different than trading some stock. It's the same thing, pretty much. Especially when it's like a penny stock, for example. It's the same thing.
Yeah, which I want you to have a look at later. I sent you that Tilray trade that I'm looking at right now. I'm considering going into Tilray. It actually looks like an interesting prospect, like a shitcoin,
You didn't send it to me, but sure.
I did on our group chat. On our private chat, I said notes for the show, Tilray.
I see it. Oh, yeah. What is it? TLRY?
Yeah, TLRY. Yeah.
I remember talking about Tilray like years ago, man.
I know.
Yeah, it looks like it finally found the bottom. Shit, I was eyeing Tilray a while back, but then it just kept going lower, so I kind of forgot about it.
I think it looks like a trade. Let's mark that down. I'm going to go into Tilray as a little pullback. It's already up. Like how much percentage is up from the bottom?
I know it looks good, but it's already up a lot. Like now I would feel like I missed it.
I agree, but I think I pull back to some of those moving averages.
Yeah, I have so many old markings on Tilray from back in the day.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, let's go to Bitcoin. Well, the monthly chart is looking great. We are going to hit a monthly top in December. So I'm still bullish on Bitcoin in Q3. Matt, remember how I've been saying all summer long, for Q4. Q4 should be a bullish month in Bitcoin. I was always looking for Q4 to rally the price of Bitcoin, and here we are in Q4. The weekly chart has given us a green star candle, and I am bullish here. So ideally, you're not buying Bitcoin right now. The problem with buying Bitcoin right now is today is an MRI top. And like I told everybody yesterday, this is not a bad time to take your profit, and I am looking for a pullback down to 20,000. So today is like the worst day for you to get in on the weekly trend and the monthly trend. But there's nothing wrong with, trying to time the weekly trend and the monthly trend, because I do think we are going to break 140 by end of this year. That is my target. My target is 144 at year end. I don't know if that's going to be the top for the cycle. I think we have more room to go for the cycle. I think we'll be bullish another 6 months into next year. So I think our cycle top is going to come going into the summer, somewhere between April and like June, July. That's when I think the top of the cycle is going to come. That doesn't mean that the top of the cycle can't come this quarter. Anything can happen. But at the moment, the daily MRI is telling me we are likely to pull back to the $120,000 area. That is my current buy the dip at around 120. And then there should be some upside after that. And that's what I'm looking for on the daily. On the weekly, this would look like consolidation, followed by another leg higher into a weekly MRI top, arriving sometime next month. And on the monthly, we should be going up into that 142 area. That is what TA is telling me. On the short-term look, 4-hour chart is looking very bearish now. And the 1 hour reversed at 9 a.m. We are looking at a 10 a.m. reversal right now, but it looks a little bit weak. So I'm not rushing in to buy the 10 a.m. reversal right here. And let's see where the S&P is. The S&P is on a weekly MRI top itself, and extension C and extension B. So the S&P looks toppy here on a weekly scale. On a daily scale, we hit an all-time high this morning, and we are looking at a new all-time high close. So from a daily perspective, we're still okay. But look, the daily is about to top on Thursday. So we have a daily MRI top on Thursday, and we just had a weekly MRI top. I think these markets are toppy, guys. Gold is probably the same way. Gold continues to rally. Here is monthly gold. Looks just like Bitcoin. It's sitting there on a 7. The weekly gold had an MRI top a few weeks ago, I think. So this should be a green star candle. It was a green star candle last week. Weekly gold is still saying higher. Let's see what the daily gold looks like. I think it should be nearing another top. No, it had a top a few days ago. So gold is still looking pretty bullish. I'm a little surprised that gold continues to do this well, and silver is probably topping. If not this week, then next week. I think all these markets are ready to top, guys. Hopefully, Bitcoin is the worst performing, is like the smallest pullback, and then Bitcoin reverses from 120. That's kind of what I'm looking at. What is the exact price of gold, actually? Oh, we broke 4,000. Nice. We're sitting right there at the acceleration line. I think these markets are ready to top. Gold 4,000, silver 50. They're also very round numbers. S&P 674. Oh no, that is the S&P actually. 6,745. Can the S&P get to 7,000? That's a little high, but yeah, there's not much to say. There's not much I can say at the all-time high, right? Other than everyone was warned yesterday, and even the day, well, probably just yesterday. I haven't done videos over the weekend. Everyone was warned yesterday that today is supposed to be a pullback, and we have a pullback. There's nothing more I can tell you other than let's hope it's the 1 to 4 version of a pullback, and then you buy your dip around 119, 120. That's all I really have to say. Not much else.
Sorry to cut you off, but we said the same thing, and I agree. I think that there's an excellent opportunity to buy the dip at this point when we get down. I've even got lines in at 116, which I think are. And if you really wanted to get into Bitcoin, to my friends who are listening, rather than just pushing the market in everything from here, I would consider setting up like a net of a great, $500 a part, come in wicking down and get a really good average entry. I think Bitcoin looks all right from here, man, for the rest of the year, as Tone's been saying all year. Q4.
Yeah, Q4. I'm done. I don't have anything else to add other than like Bitcoin is doing what was expected of it to do today, pull back, and I made it very clear on yesterday's video. Do I think gold will ever go back to 3,000, or what's a realistic pullback? Yeah, 3,000 is realistic.
Yep.
What?
Is it you cut? Is it you?
Matt,
Is it
we
you
didn't hear
cutting out
you.
on me, brother?
I don't know. I'm on a new Wi-Fi. I'm on a new place.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Haven't tested it yet. But people were asking me yesterday. I talked about how when the bear market comes, the Bitcoin ETFs will dump Bitcoin onto the market. This is a pretty long discussion. I think I'll save it for another time when Bitcoin is really boring. All right.
Yeah, mate.
Call it a day.
That's it.
It's been 30
Good
minutes.
show. 20 minutes. Have a look.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching.
Look at some of this. Come back to the screen share. Look at this. Look at this merch. This is the suit I wore on stage. Man, I had the best time ever, you know. And I'm actually in discussions now with the team at Crypto Fight Night. Maybe I'll come on as a color commentator for them, you know, travel the world and meet with you guys, the fighters, and be a content creator for Crypto Fight Night. I think that's a better angle for me. I am retired now. I'm too old, too much beer, 25 years of smoking cigarettes. I think that's done. I think there's an avenue for me to be part of the team as a commentator. All right. That's a bit of personal background. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll be here with you every night this week. I think there's a very interesting week ahead of us for Bitcoin. Like and subscribe. Thank you.
Later, guys. And there is a question in the live chat. I'm going to say real quick. So I wasn't a trader on Wall Street. I was building risk models for traders on Wall Street. And Wall Street, most professional Wall Street traders do not use technical analysis. That is not how they trade. Tyler Jenks discussed it at length on his Hyperwave podcast back when he had it. Technical analysis is new. And right now, I would say maybe 20% of all trading, maybe 30% of all trading is using technical analysis. Back 20 years ago when I was doing it, it was less. And maybe in 100 years, 80% of all traders will be using technical analysis. And we'll see what kind of market action we have. Technical analysis as a percentage of all trading continues to rise. But professionals still
remember, like, you got to define the difference between a trader who's arbitraging the yen from Singapore, and they're not using technical analysis, right, in the money markets. But we're talking investors, which we're all investors. Unless no one here is a trader the way that we're talking about on Wall Street. We're investors, and definitely investors. The percentage that are using technical analysis now is growing completely. It's taking over. Wouldn't you agree, Tone?
Slowly. But if you want to know how Wall Street traders trade, go watch the show Billions. All right, guys, we're going to call it a day. Thank you all for watching, and see you all later this week. Maybe tomorrow, but definitely by
Thanks, guys. Thanks again.